the market pulls back and the bonds go up. That's usually what happens. You have the bonds and the VIX kind of trading inversely to the overall market, although there are a few occasions throughout the year where you get the VIX and the bonds kind of running all up together with the market. And then that's when you kind of have to worry about, okay, what's going to happen here? Is something teetering? Is something going to collapse? But all in all, pretty easy in here. VIX bonds up, market straight down. Now, what's interesting to me, this candle that we placed in here today, right? Opened at 91.31, closed at exactly 91.31. So what does this tell us? Did the bonds market just see something in here today that said, hey, guess what? It might be time for a little pullback in here and start dumping some money back into the market, right? So that's what I'm kind of thinking, because we wouldn't trade if you had the big drop in the market today. You'd figure you have a pretty decent run up in the bonds, right? So like yesterday and the day before, like you had all these pretty big green candles in here, but you had this huge pullback today in the market, high low of $15. We mentioned that in our other video for the spies. And then yet you had basically zero, nothing happened in here on the bonds. So that is interesting, because that kind of tells us, hey, the bond market might be seeing something that we're not aware of, right? Obviously, everything's going to hinge on PCE data tomorrow, but we'll kind of have to wait and see in here. But this candle is very just kind of interesting, right? Something that we have to be aware of as we're trading tomorrow. Now, what are we looking at here? We have our fib tool on, so we have our high back in here of September, and then we have our low back here in January of this 84.89. So currently we said we're trading at 91.31. So first support is going to be this 9-day EMA right here at that. It's going to be 90.21. Also, if we go down and touch that, we're going to fill this little gap right here. And then our first resistance is going to be this 200 SMA, which is currently at 92.71. Above that, it's going to be this 50% fib at that 93.27. So a little contraction coming in right here, perhaps with this candle. And you're going to see your 9-day EMA, it's getting closer, right, to this 200. You had this huge squeeze back here in December before that large expansion. If you were trading Bollinger Bands, this would be a major squeeze and then a huge contraction here. Be a perfect setup if you're trying to play those back in here in December. But that's what we're looking for. Squeeze, expansion. Now we're kind of reverting back. Might get a little consolidation up here. And then maybe this is telling us something that the market overall and the SPOOs and then the tech is perhaps not really seeing, right? So again, we'll kind of have to wait and see what happens. We have the RSI up here high. Volume today higher than it was yesterday, and basically we had a $0 move, right? So that's always interesting as well. Yesterday, pretty decent move in here, about $1 up and down, right? And then today, flat, and then you had more volume. So that's going to be kind of interesting as well to kind of keep in the back of our mind. IV rank in here is at 42. So overall, volatility is still in here in TLT, even though we had this kind of 4-day run up in here. So you still have volatility in here. Pricing around a 64-cent expected move by tomorrow's expiration. If you go out to next week, everybody's pricing in right around a $2 expected move. You go about 2.5 if you go out to your March, and go all the way out to April, about $3.60 expected move in here. So we'll have to wait and see. Be careful of this 9-day EMA here, this 200 SMA currently trading at 92.71 and 90.21. Be aware of your RSI and think as we're trading tomorrow, what does this candle mean and what does this have to say? But we'll have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. And with the PCE data, is that going to affect us trading here in the bonds? All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.